Welcome, everybody. Welcome to our final meeting of the year. We are the Executive Coaching Special Interest Group. We work because of ICF Los Angeles. That's why we're here. They support us and they support you. Um, I would like to start us off the way we have in so many sessions, which is to welcome people who are here for the very first time. If you're here for the very first time, we have a big agenda today, but we would like to take a moment to say hello. We would love you to raise your electronic hand and tell us three quick things. Tell us your name, tell us where you are, and tell us how you found us. And we'll say good morning, and that would be great. We would love to see that. So, anyone here for the very first time, raise your hand, your electronic hand. Fantastic. Michelle Bell, tell us. Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Michelle.
Nice to see you all. My coach trainer, Damian Golvarg, is here.
Yes.
And we actually match. That wasn't planned. But I'm a new to coaching, and I work at University of Southern California.
Oh, you just went mute,
I'm
Michelle.
very interested in executive coaching. I'm currently working on my doctorate in IO psychology and attended ICF Converge just recently.
Yeah.
Love this community. Have just joined ICF this fall and wished I would have done it a year earlier. This is only my, like I said, second year because of the community. It's been so positive, and I'm here to learn from all of you. So I'd love to know what this looks like. I don't currently do executive coaching, but it is an area of interest, especially my dissertation's on leadership coaching in the age of AI. So I'm interested in how executive coaches are adapting to helping and support the clients who are going through those types of changes. Thank you very much.
Michelle, we're glad you're here. Thank you very much. Is Michelle our sole new person? No, we have Taya Kopp. Good morning, Taya.
Hi, good morning. Yes, and you said my name correctly first time, so thank you for that.
Wow, that's just luck.
I feel very welcome. Yeah. So yeah, that's my name. I was recently, sort of, I guess, the time is slipping, but recently certified as with my ACC. I went to the Center for Executive Coaching, so that was the focus
Great.
in my coaching training. And yeah, so relatively new to this game as well, and also went to Converge and loved it, and so I appreciate being here.
And we are glad you're here. So
Thank
terrific.
you.
Welcome
Thank you
to
for the
the community.
welcome. Yeah.
You bet. You bet. You bet. All right. More? Other? All right. Then we are going to jump right in. So, especially for the new people, but for those of you who may not have been with us for a while, let me just tell you who we are. There are three co-hosts. I'm one, Tom Henschel.
I'm the second. I'm Susan Smalley.
And I am the backseat driver, Desiree Briel Rodi. I see all of you.
So the three of us work together to bring you this. We consider ourselves to be a self-directed learning group. And boy, you're going to see that today. That is what we're doing today. So we define executive coaching as anything with a triangle. The coach is a point on the triangle, the client's a point on the triangle, and then whatever the organization is, the HR person, the boss, the payroll department, whatever it is, that's executive coaching for us. We have four norms when we're together. One is around our video, that we turn our video on and we give each other feedback about our video, since this is so much of how we make our living these days. We are a public group, so we see each other's emails sometimes. We see each other, we're being recorded, we know that. And then the last two things is about mute. In these big groups, and today we're only going to be in the big group, no breakout rooms today, keep yourself on mute. But number four, do not sit on mute. Do not be passive. We want questions. We want responses. We want interaction. And I think that in our 8 years together, we have gotten very nimble at this. So thank you. Keep your hand on the button and jump on in.
Yeah, so really all of you just go on the site. You'll see there's lots of stuff coming up. We just, put a couple there.
What is the site? What is the site?
ICFLA.org.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yep.
I'm just checking to be sure.
Yes, of course. And in case that's not enough, we have been collecting all of the resources and all of the great information over the last 8 years from this executive coaching SIG. And all of that information is on this shared drive. And if you have not been there, you have to go and check it out. It is, I mean, I remember I went one time and I ended up spending like 3 or 4 hours there. Just, there's so much great information. It's lots of resources. It's our pricing surveys. It's anything we've talked about and that people have included in the chat. We load it all up on the shared drive. So Desiree is going to put the link in the chat, and feel free to go there. Check that out.
And Susan, if I can just say, I believe we have a LinkedIn group. I don't know how many people are in it, but if people want to, and you can get to it through the shared drive, right?
I believe that's true, Barry. I believe that's true.
That's how I set it up. So if people want to get on and talk to each other, I don't think we mention all the time, but I think that's a great way for us, community, to get together. And thank you, Susan, Tom, and Desiree, and everybody, because this community of not only what we share, but how we show up is amazing.
Thanks, Barry.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yes, it's a very
Nice to see you guys.
giving community. Yes. Okay, so where we are, this is our last and largest one of the year. I think we had 92 people that registered. Today, we're talking about sales strategies, generating leads, and business development. And true to form, and Tom's going to kick us off, but this is really about how do we learn from each other? We have a lot of folks that have been coaching for a long time. We have folks that are new. We all have things that we can share. So that's really what we're up to today. You can see what our list is from the year. In February, we always get together and decide it's a chance to connect. Everybody can also talk about all the things that they just put in the chat about what they were going to do between now and February. And we create our learning list. And so this year we've looked at AI, we've looked at best practices in coaching, we've looked at group and team coaching, and we did our pricing survey. So as far as we know, the schedule will be the same. We'll have the same months, and we'll do the second Friday. So if you want to go ahead and just put it on your calendar, February, April, June, August, September, November, second Friday. We'll let you know if we hear otherwise, but we think that that's where we're going to be.
So the first meeting of the year is in February?
Correct.
Right.
Mhm.
So we'll have to ask Joe if he has any wine left. All right, Tom, get us started.
Yes. Okay. So this topic that we're doing today is not a topic that Susan and Desiree and I picked. It is what the group picked in February, and it was ranked the 5th. And so this was our one for the year that we're doing. What we have done, and I think most of you should have seen an email just over a month ago where Susan and I reached out and said, do you have ideas to share with the community around sales and business development and what you do? And we weren't necessarily looking for everybody to do the same thing or everything different. We didn't know what people were going to answer with, but what we got was 7 people who are willing to step up and share information with you today. We're going to keep time, so we've asked them to be very kind of specific around a time block. We'll have a little bit of time for Q&A afterwards, after each speaker. We're asking the speakers to put their information in the chat, so if you want to continue the conversation, you should be able to. And we're going to do like we do the best practices session in the summer. We're just going to roll through this. So you're going to hear tons today. And my hope is you're going to hear lots of different stuff and get to know some people that maybe you don't know. One way that I thought we would start this is a question and a conversation I've been having most of the year with many of you and people that I talk with. It's a one-question poll around how is business this year? So Desiree, can you launch this poll for us? Okay, Desiree, you want to display it? So pretty interesting, a third, and a third. So this is, but by the way, this was just an idea of around how are we doing and the importance of sales and all the things we're going to talk about today. So I'm going to let that go. And I'm going to invite our first speaker. I just want to say, I mentioned this before. There are many leaders on the call today, Edward and Gretchen and Nina, and one of them, and sorry if I missed you, I really apologize. I just haven't seen everybody on the screen. But one of them is Courtney, who was a past president of ours, and Courtney volunteered to step up and share with us. So, Courtney, good morning.
Take it away. Hey, everybody. Glad to be here. Love this conversation. I've got like my honey and my cough drop, so sorry my voice is a little bit funky. I think I'm good for 5 minutes. Let me start my timer just so I can not go crazy. I'm sure you all are timing me too, but just to keep it, and probably now it's a little less. Okay, so I want to first echo what Susan said about, because I'm just going to share what my experience is. This isn't advice. This isn't like how to do it. This is my experience of what worked for me in building my practice. And one of the things was joining ICF, not just I had joined, but going to the meeting and then seeing like, oh, this is a community. This is where my coaches are, and volunteering, getting into action, but really being of service. And it made me feel part of, and I made some relationships similar to what Susan's saying. And I will say, not only do I have some of my best friends from ICF LA, I've had some amazing business opportunities. So there is a bit of that. So here's what happened to me. I became a coach in 2008. I'd been in sales for 5 years, an amazing career in sales. Then at 4 seasons, then I moved into TV production, worked in production for over a decade, had an amazing career in front of the camera, behind the camera, all of that. Awesome. Then I realized there was something else to do, and it was coaching. Trained, and then I'm trained, I'm certified, and now what? So I started to kind of build my private practice, and I built it around kind of a brand around some stuff that I was really helping people with. I'd been in recovery for a long time. I was in the recovery world, and so I started with that brand. And when I say brand, that sounds really horrible. I was passionate about helping people find their calling, their purpose in recovery. That was great. And I wanted to get into executive coaching. I knew that there was more money there, and it just felt like something I was curious about. So, and I would look around and see on people's LinkedIn, I would look at other coaches and they would say, have coached leaders at these organizations, and see like Fortune 500, whatever. And I was just like, how am I ever going to get in there? Like, I didn't have a corporate Rolodex. I didn't have people from a corporate world. I was coming from a totally different world. So I looked around at people who were doing work as contracted coaches, as on the bench of different organizations. And I got curious, and I asked them what their experience was. And some of them, the first one was actually, if you wanted to work, and it was the Marcus Buckingham Company. And I was like, I loved what he was up to. I loved the strengths thing. And um, there was a possibility to be on the bench, but if you were to be brought on the bench, you had to go through their training. That sounds like it was a quid pro quo. It was not at all. It was like, here's training. If you're interested in becoming more of a strengths coach and learning how to do an assessment and do different things, you're welcome to do the training. We would love you to do the training and be in our community that way. You're not getting hired from that.
Courtney,
And
2 minutes.
Yep.
Thanks.
So and because this was the first one, so I wanted to say, so I went for it because I wanted to do the training. And after doing the training, I was brought onto the bench. And what happened then is I was getting to do the work, the executive work that seemed mysterious to me. So it enabled me to have that experience and to start to see there wasn't anything magical or different. There was some different language. There was some different things that were happening with people when they were talking about cross-functional and silos, and just like some of the jargon people throw around, reorgs, riffs, all this stuff. I was like taking notes and got it. It also gave me some of that credibility to be able to say I've coached people at Facebook, SurveyMonkey, Lululemon, Levi Strauss, like whatever the organizations are, because I was coaching people at those organizations. That gave me some credibility, gave me the experience, and I was able to join a few other benches as well. Those ones didn't require, it's been over the years. So I've been coaching again since 2008. And over the years, I've been on different benches, smaller, kind of more, I think they would call themselves more boutique-y coaching companies, but that has been really helpful for me. I call them strategic partnerships. organizations that want me to be a coach on their roster and who send me leads, i.e., here's a client who's looking for coaching. They're giving like 3 chemistry calls. I'm one of their coaches, and I get to do work that way. What I would say is this has been great. Ideally, in my fantasy world, and maybe it'll be next year, it'll be like where I can like turn the dial up on one and turn it down on another. Right now, it's just like keep it coming, right? For everybody.
So Courtney, can I kick
yeah.
off the Q&A set? We've got a couple minutes for Q&A with
Do
you,
it.
and I'd like to kick it off by asking, when you think of a given year, how much of your total income is from that subcontracting on those benches?
It depends on the year.
Sure.
And I would say it's been between, just calculating, it's been between probably 80% to 50%.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Questions for Courtney? We have a couple minutes.
Barry has a question for lovely Courtney.
Thanks,
Hi,
Barry.
Courtney. Hey, you and I were both on ICF board for a long time. I'm curious from just maybe not the board, but the volunteering side of either ICF or other things. What impact did it have for, well, 2 things, for you as a coach, maybe your business, but also for the people that you serve?
To the people that I'll start with the first part, and that is just for me personally. I feel like I belong somewhere more so when I'm volunteering, when I'm being of service. So that had me more engaged, more contributing. I was learning a lot. So that was something I got from it. The people I served, well, I guess it depends what you mean by served, Barry. I mean, my clients, ICF.
Well, yeah, different areas. So the ICF, like the volunteer organization, your clients, the people you connect with, the relationships you make either in ICF, friendships, partnerships, fun
Yeah,
coffee.
I'll jump in. I'll jump in. Yeah. So being of service is actually a really strong value of mine. And so it had me living in my values. It had me showing up to ICF authentically in service. I was enjoying it. I was getting something out of it because it fed something in me. It wasn't just a Machiavellian, haha, I'm going to get here, and relationships and business. So I think that that was something that was a big part of it.
We've got 3 questions for you, Courtney. I'm going to see if we can get them all in.
Lightning.
You bet. Adeline.
Hi. You mentioned the contracting firms, and I'm just curious. I'm always curious as to how people, get onto the roster of those contractors.
Yeah, you can reach out. You can go to their websites. They'll often have something like employment opportunities. I will say most of them have actually come through referrals, coaches who were already on the benches who have said, hey, we're looking for some coaches. And then they have reached out and I've had an interview with them.
So would you be willing to share a list? Or if anybody's willing to share a list, I'm totally open to that.
I don't have a list. There are lists out there. I'll look and see what I can find it, and I'll share it. I'll look after I'm done talking and see if I can
Thank
find
you.
it. Mhm.
Jorge, we got a minute. Hi, good to see you.
Hey, hi. Yeah, along the lines of what Adeline was asking, what was like a winning strategy for you, Courtney, when you started out looking around and reaching out to people, reaching out to these firms for them to respond to you?
It actually was just very organic. I'm sorry to say that because I didn't have like a winning strategy. It was very organic. I did that first one and then another one, someone said they were looking for coaches. So it was just paying attention to it. I guess that's my winning strategy, is paying attention and maybe letting people know and asking people. I guess that would be a strategy. Ask people that you know who were on benches and if that organization is looking for coaches.
Yeah. Just
What
an
does it
invitation.
mean?
I'm sorry, I'm going to say one quick thing. An invitation to the community. If you're willing to if you have a subcontracting relationship with a coaching organization and you're willing to just put their name in the chat, please do. It's there, people don't know what's out there. So if you're willing to do that, great. Tommaso, we've got like 1 minute left. So
Only very quickly, this company, what are the requested credential for the subcontract the coach? Do they require ACC, PCC, MCC, or you can attend also with the basic ACC?
I'd say it depends. I have seen PCC as being a bit of a threshold, but I would also say it
Yeah.
depends.
Yeah, and they'll make it really clear. But I agree, PCC seems to be the threshold. I'm going to put a pause on Courtney. Courtney, I'm sure there's lots for you in the chat, and if you can put your information in the chat, if people want to keep the conversation going. I'm going to pass the ball now to Kenny and Kenny Rhodes. And the reason I reached out to Kenny is because Kenny actually has been using a service that Kenny's the only guy I know who's doing it, and I couldn't wait to hear about it. So, Kenny,
Sure.
You ready to roll?
I am. Thank you.
Yeah.
Nice to see everybody. And just to follow up on Courtney, I'm with strawberry.me and they accept ACCs, so that's useful. I have been asked to speak about the groups that reach out saying they will increase your lead generators. I am pelted with these on a constant basis. I concentrated on a couple and ended up hiring one and wanted to share about that. The first one was very useful, but asked for $24,000 for a year's worth of sales advice is really what it came down to. And that seemed a little too much. I found another company called Digital Mentors, who I am now working with. They were a third of that price. It's also a year contract. And they're largely a marketing company for coaches. I've broken it into the pros and cons I want to share with you guys. The pros are, if you're new at this and need to build a company from the ground up, they're very helpful. They have what they call a tech stack, which in their case means a CRM, invoicing, a lot of automated systems that they help you onboard. You can build your website through them. I didn't need all of that, but I needed some. It was useful. The people are very kind, they're very smart, they're very committed. But it's a sales company. They're still trying to upsell you, and that's a reality. I don't mind them doing that, but it's good to know. It's a huge time commitment. It's 3 times more work to get through the videos of training that they have than it was to get my credential. So that's something to be aware of.
Wow, that sounds so intense.
It's intense, and I'll get to my final conclusion in a minute. Their tech platform is very comprehensive, but I'm learned that it's off the rack. It's something called Go High Level, which can be bought separately for about $100 a month, I believe, and you can get all that tech without them. But it's pretty non-intuitive, so having someone there to talk you through it doesn't hurt. This company, Digital Mentors, is really 4 people: the owner, the tech guy, the sales guy, and a person who helps with graphics. 2 of them I use on a regular basis, and I've found from most of the people involved, that's generally the case. They rely very heavily on AI. They are big on helping you identify your very, very specific niche, and then using AI to help you expand how to explain that to your ideal client and put it out on LinkedIn or Instagram or wherever platform. They recommend that you pick one rather than trying to do all of them at the same time.
Huh.
If you're already good at AI, it's not a giant help, but they do, if you're new to AI or could use some prompts, they're pretty well versed in this stuff. So it's been helpful. Plus, it's part of the zeitgeist, so I don't mind being just included in this. And compared to the others that I've talked to, they are competitively priced.
Huh.
I like them, but the cons are, as I say, it's very time consuming. They've only been in business for about less than 2 years. And so I did a little poll over the last week, knowing I was going to speak to you guys, to find out whether I'm not taking advantage of the system properly or what. Because the truth is, my ROI has not increased a nickel. And that was alarming to me. So I wanted to find out, am I doing something wrong? Or does it take extra time? I haven't been there that long, 3 or 4 months. And I reached out to a number of people and found the exact same thing. Nobody I spoke to had changed their income.
Wow.
Every one of them said what I said. It's probably me. I'm not really working the system as hard as I could, or some other variation of that. But when the result is 0, that's a red flag for me. Now, I don't think these people are scams. I think they're very nice people. I think their advice is good. I just don't know it's a silver bullet. So my overall recommendation is find out exactly what these folks are offering to you. If it's what you need, terrific. If you can afford it, great. If you're just rolling the dice and hoping for them to build a company for you, I think that's a little pie in the sky, and I'm not sure that I made the right choice.
Will you keep the commitment for 12 months? Will you finish
I'm
out
not
the
sure.
year?
I'm going to talk to them soon. I feel like I've kind of run the limit of the value, and I am contracted, and I'm not the guy that just walks away from an agreement. So if I'm forced to, I will, but I am going to talk to them about, is there a way to sort of soften this commitment?
Wow.
We'll see.
Very, there's questions for you, Kenny. So here we go.
Just really quick. So I've been down that track before. I've been down the track of the places you pay money to get in, and I've been down the other track. This is not all the time, but a lot of the time, my experience of 27 years, and it's not, is that the ones that you pay money, which is usually the ones that don't have not necessarily I don't know how to explain it. It's not necessarily like a funnel. It's that they're more, for me, it's more they're teaching you how to do stuff so you can go do it. And I don't know if this is a fair thing, but it almost feels, because I've been down that exact track, Kenny, I've been down some, it's almost like a little bit of a broken promise, or it's not completely transparent. There's like, you could make money. Well, you're going to have plans, but you don't. And then this, and it doesn't happen with 100% of all of them. But when I look at all the ones that I've done that versus the ones where I'm, working on the bench, it's a pretty night and day difference. I don't know if anybody else has a thought. Thank you, Kenny.
Yeah, thanks, Barry. Joanne.
Yes, you mentioned a company at first. Was that one of the similar companies, or you said I'm with that company or something?
I am with Digital Mentors. The one before that was an individual woman. I can't quite remember her name, but I met her through a session she gave on the coaching.com summit this year. She seemed very compelling. I reached out to her, but really her offering was nothing but how to turn sales calls into sales.
But Kenny, you also mentioned being on the bench. Was it at Strawberry?
Yes, exactly. So I have had much more success being on strawberry.com, strawberry.me, which is a brand new company. Some of you have mentioned it. I can tell you a little bit about them. The pay is terrible. The company's good. The pay's untenable, but I have 30 clients now, about 20 a week, and it's $40 an hour, and I got a raise. So you can't live off of this. But hopefully they have been growing quickly. The owner was one of the founders of Better Help, not Better Up, Better Help, the therapy group. He left there to start Strawberry. So he knows how to scale these.
Kenny, I'm going to give you Damien. Hi, Damien.
Hey, how are you? Just a couple of comments, Kenny. First, I want to say that the market right now is very tricky. So you can maybe invest in money in different marketing opportunities, and still I hear a lot of people, like here today, we found out, Tom, that 30% only from this community are increasing the number of clients or work that they're having. So in general, I have heard from people who are close friends in this community too, who are struggling to get new clients. So we need to understand what is in the market, in the world, with all of this uncertainty, and that's one thing to keep in mind. The second is about, there are so many offers available that sometimes it's confusing. There are a lot of different people offering you and promising things that I just invested in a marketing company that didn't work out. So I was wondering, we wonder, what are we doing wrong?
Right.
So my only suggestion would be to have different strategies. where we have AI helping us. So we all need to learn to engage AI and embrace AI and use AI in our work and in our marketing. And then also have different strategies. So social media is not enough. Social media, working in LinkedIn on one strategy, I work with LinkedIn and YouTube. I use these two strategies and still is not enough. I still need to do public speaking. I need to write. There are many things we need to do to have a good strategy in this market.
Yeah. Yeah.
True.
Great.
So true.
Kenny, thank you. Again, I do think so many of us get those, lead generation emails. So the fact that you actually could talk us through it, thank you, Susan.
So we are going to switch now to Frankie. Speaking of AI and diversifying, Frankie has got some good ideas around the group that she works with, plus using AI. Frankie.
Hi. Yeah. In February this year, I got my first I found you through Perplexity, or I found you through ChatGPT message in my intake form, or kind of Calendly call booking. And I was like, what? It was really surprising. And since then, it's just kept ramping up and up and up. And I probably had about 25 people reach out to me in the past 10 months, if I'm doing my maths right, maybe 9 months, through AI search results. And I was like, well, I don't know how that's happening. And because I'm not particularly prolific, I don't have a blog, I don't really use social media that much, that sort of thing. But then I was looking into it, and there's search engine optimization, which is your regular Google search. Then there is generative engine optimization, GEO, which is the AI overview or summaries. And that's usually natural language, like people actually asking questions and queries the way they would talk to a person. Or they're putting in more colloquial phrases or things that reflect their lived experience. So like snippets and sound bites that you might actually hear in testimonials or in prospect calls. And then there's LLM optimization, large language model optimization, which is around credibility and expertise and authority. So it's there's these different pieces of that. So I looked into that because I was like, why is this happening? And it turns out that I think that there are two things, and I don't have a definitive answer. So I've been pivoting my brand. I started out working for gifted ADHD, or serving gifted ADHD professionals in tech. And I'm now pivoting towards executive coaching for brilliant generalists who may or may not have ADHD, but there's a kind of, so as part of that identity crisis, as part of that, I was having a lot of conversations with ChatGPT, and I wrote out my ideal client persona document because I was like, oh, I'm just typing this in each time. I should just put it in a Google Doc. And I started writing. 6 pages later, what people are thinking, like the direct phrases that they're asking about, this how they describe themselves, like a lot of the client language rather than the professional language. So it's about the inner experience, how people might be more confiding. And so I think that it's partially like I've been seeding the LLM, the models internally, especially for ChatGPT, with that sort of phrasing, which is not about I'm an expert and I'm positioning myself as such, but I get you, I see you, this is creepy kind of thing. And then another part of this is also it does your search ranking. Google has a ranking. It's expertise, experience, expertise, authority, and trustworthiness. Have you done it? Do you know it? Do you know what you're talking about? Do other people recognize that you're an authority or that you do know what you're talking about? And trustworthiness, is it accurate? So anything that works for SEO works for the AI optimization too. And I think that the second thing that I wanted to say is also it takes from LinkedIn content, like any generative AI search or LLM search does take from LinkedIn content, which includes comments. So it's not just your posts, but it is how you're engaging on there, which again, if you're using the language that people are actually using in their daily lives, not corporate jargon, although it can be, depending on what they're looking for help around. So I'll leave it there because I do have let me just check.
So question for you, and then I see Sharon has a question. So what is if you were to say, here's the thing to do, what's the to-do item coming out of this? Like, what are you suggesting or what have you done that's the actual action?
I'm not an expert. I'm like,
yeah, what have you done? Yeah.
I would say LinkedIn commenting and relating it back to who your clients are, how they describe themselves, and what you've helped your paid clients with, and mirroring their language so that because there are two pieces of this. There's direct quotes and like I call myself a jack of all trades too. Yeah, you get me. But then there's also the inference models. So the LLM kind of inference, they're like, oh, other people who've said jack of all trades might also think of themselves as a generalist, or might also have executive functioning challenges around administrative, things. So there's some kind of there's that inference as well as direct quotes.
Thank you. So fascinating. Sharon, go ahead.
This is so helpful. Frankie, thank you. I'm like taking mad notes. This is really interesting. And I just want to validate what you said since I've been commenting more on groups I follow, my clients. The web has grown of comments back to me, liking my post. So I totally agree with you. My question for you was, is there any resource you could share that helped you learn more about the algorithms, AI? Because I did trial and error, and I agree with your success, but is there any resource that helped you along the way that would be like maybe a cheat sheet? Just trial and error, kind of. Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. I mean, that's what we're doing, right? Spaghetti test.
Well, so it's keep on doing what's working. And once you know where things are coming from, it's like, what I will say is that a vetted platform, which is say LinkedIn or Substack or something like that, rather than your own website, is more likely to come up in search results because of the trustworthiness aspect of it. And because there's, people will report inaccuracies or, well, the internet these days. But that if there's a choice between writing an article on your blog or to your email newsletter versus using a Substack email newsletter or LinkedIn articles, then I would go with a larger platform just because that shows up higher in rankings.
I agree. And also there's something about people coming out of the woodwork from 20 years ago who find me on LinkedIn, because the more comments, I think it pushes your profile to the top somehow. Yeah.
So if we're thinking social media platforms reward engagement, and the different forms of engagement are ranked higher, like commenting shows that you've said something that is worth a discussion, and they want people to spend more and more time on the platform. So anytime there are comments or it's not just a delivery of information, like it's starting a conversation. So that's also part of the posts. I'm seeing some more hands up.
Yes, Linda, go ahead.
Hi, I have about 4 quick questions. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good. So how many of the 25 contacts turned into actual clients?
Quite a few.
Like 50% or
Oh.
you don't know? I'm just curious.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh,
I
that's pretty good. Yeah.
But I'd say something like that because, and it's the know, like, and trust factor in marketing is that like if you have been specifically recommended by someone who's like, I'm pouring out my kind of the things that I might not confide into anybody else, like if I were to ask a friend, hey, who do you know who does blah, 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 like it might be a more sanitized version. But I think because the queries are more vulnerable, emotional, or like, you know, maybe not necessarily emotional, but I think that they tend to trust those results more because they're like, whoa, there's someone who helps with this.
I have two more quick ones. How often do you post on LinkedIn?
I've been increasing my my frequency. It was about once a week. I comment a lot more. And I've been experimenting with a lot of different things. I've been, you know, doing what other people say should be done. It doesn't always feel right, but I'm developing my own voice. So it's a long tail. Oh, sorry, it's a long game approach.
Mhm. And how much time do you spend commenting on LinkedIn? Let's say every day or
Too much. I need to take it off my phone because I'm like, oh, there's a conversation in here. So like
you have an estimate? I'm just curious because I'm trying to decide if I want to invest that time or not.
Well, I enjoy it, so I do it more than if I didn't enjoy it. If it feels like a chore, then don't do it.
Okay.
But I would say that, you know, getting over the discomfort of commenting at first, like, and commenting is in some ways so much better than posting your own original content.
Thank you. Okay, we've got a couple other folks. Quick questions here, Barry, and then Damien.
It'll
Go ahead,
be
Barry.
quick. Two things. One is I want to acknowledge that brilliant part about it's not just your own website, but it's these other things like LinkedIn. I think that makes sense. It's this third party, possibly real or possibly illusionary third party thing. I do have a question about LinkedIn, and that is, have you found at all that the paid one versus the free one makes a difference?
I've not tested, but
You on the free one?
no, I'm on the paid one.
I don't know if it does or not. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
But having seen a lot of different people's posts where they've said, well, I switched off the paid version because blah blah blah, and I haven't seen any differences. Yeah. I mean, your investment is time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Rather than money, I guess. Yeah. And then Damien. Yeah.
Right. One last
Yeah,
question.
it's more
Damien,
like
go
a
ahead.
comment. I think that people don't know that when you have a newsletter, what you write goes to all of the people who subscribe. So many times having a newsletter is a really great strategy. So you mentioned that, Frankie. So I wanted people to pay attention to that strategy. And also, you're very lucky that you got 50% return on your comments because this is not very common. But I think that probably what you're doing is great. So probably what I would suggest everybody to go and look at your comments and look at your site so we can learn from you.
Yeah, please.
And a tip that I want to give to people, something that I am doing that is working for me is that I got a group of 10 coaches that we know each other, we are friends. So we post on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 7 a.m. Pacific, and we all comment on each other. So in that way, I am sure that at least I will have some people commenting on my post and they will not be there standing with nothing. So I think this is a good strategy. We started 10 at the beginning of the year. We are 5 now. So people, it's not easy to commit, but we all commit to comment and within 1 hour. So the algorithm is when you post, you want people to respond within 1 hour. If you have a lot of responses within 1 hour, then the post the algorithm make it work. And what is important is the number of comments and likes. This is what you want to be paying attention. How many people are liking it and how many people are commenting. So you may want to do this strategy, maybe helpful.
ish. So, and I know my topic was really about like, being found through AI optimization and search, but um, the most lucrative posts that I've ever had on LinkedIn, the most people reaching out to me have had like 3 likes and 0 comments. Like I got a paid speaking gig from something, but because sometimes people like LinkedIn is for lurkers in many ways. And that for search engine optimization, they're looking for those vanity metrics. So, sorry, they're called vanity metrics of likes and comments and like what is measurable and visible on the outside, or number of impressions. But when something really resonates with your ideal client, they will reach out to you even if they'll be like, oh, I really loved your posts about this, this, and this. And you're like, where are you coming from? Like, so again, also LinkedIn is a long game. And what I'll also say is that 4 years ago, I was terrified to post on LinkedIn, and it's taken me around 3 years to actually start like getting more comfortable with that process and being more open and visible. I'm fine getting up on stages, but it's a different, so it don't compare yourself to people who are further ahead. Like if I looked at my LinkedIn right now, I'd be like, from 3 years ago, sorry, if me 3 years ago were looking now, I would be super impressed and really intimidated. But anyway.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, Frankie. This has been great. We've learned a lot from you. I wanted to switch to, is Sorry here? I don't think Sorry is here, Tom. So we're going to go ahead and go to Gretchen. You're
Oh,
on.
fantastic. I'm so excited. So
thanks, Frankie.
Listen, many of you probably know Gretchen. Gretchen is one of the leaders with the chapter, but Gretchen has been helping other coaches build their business forever. She leads a special interest group. That's what her business is. I'm so excited that Gretchen is here to share with us. So, hi, Gretchen. Hit it.
Hey, what a great special interest group this is. I'm so happy to be here. So, what I want to share is how you prep to be ready to talk to organizations about your executive coaching. And what do I mean by that? Many times, coaches are confused about what needs to happen in order to get into the front door with these types of contracts. And so one of the things that I teach and that I recommend is how do you prep for that call, or how do you prep to even get through the door for that email? Something that I want to do before I'm going to talk to the executive at hand is I want that person to let me know what their current biggest challenge is with their team or inside the company. And the reason that this is important is it's going to give you some background information right away on talking points of potential problems, potential challenges that you might be able to coach around. I also want to know what the risk is to the organization or the team if that doesn't get changed. There's always a risk. There's always something that will happen if they do not change this. And I'd like to find out what have they already tried, because this sort of shows me their level of readiness. Where are they at with this? Have they already tried 12 things and they didn't work? Have they tried nothing and you're going to be their first stop? Like, where are they at in this process? And this sets up a very good conversation. Now, a lot of times when we're trying to get into inside of corporations, there's a few people that we have to talk to. Sometimes it's HR, sometimes it's the assistant to whoever we might coach, but get as much background information as you can first, and then you want to talk to the person that's the decision maker. So HR is not typically going to be the decision maker. They're the people that might open the door because we are here to help HR with whatever it is that they are suffering from. They need to look good. We're an extension of them looking good, but they're not going to be the one to make that final say. So I like to talk to HR and then talk to, let's say I'm going to coach inside the C-suite. I want to know who's that team lead going to be, or who's the highest executive that is going to be making this decision. And that's who I have this conversation with, because the deeper I know what the challenges are for them, the more tailored I can get and what the coaching will offer to them. And I have found then that this opens the door for me to be able to work with companies in one of three ways. The first is sometimes I'll bring in some kind of a workshop. Maybe it's a DISC assessment or a skills lab, something like that, for them to get to know me. The second way is I might work with the executives or the rising stars leadership individually. And then the third way is I might work inside of a group or a team to help them with their actual skills building and to help them with their team agreements and why this team even exists in the first place. But no matter what it is that I'm going to do, I have to start with figuring out where the gap is. What is that gap that needs to be exposed? And so when you get in there, even if the first thing isn't that you're going to be able to coach the team, and those are great contracts to have, maybe you start with a workshop. Maybe you coach 2 or 3 people, and then maybe you get into the team. But I think of it as a stool with 3 legs, that there are many different ways to get in. But if you do not have good conversations up front, just pitching yourself as one more coach sort of goes into the waste bin, because there's just a lot of people doing that. We want to show up differently. So that's something that I have done that has really been effective when getting through the door with corporate.
Did I hear all 3 legs of that stool?
So workshops can be one leg.
Oh, those are the stools. Got
Yeah.
it.
Individual coaching, and then either group or team, depending on what you might do.
So one of the things you said at the very, very beginning, Gretchen, was about kind of demystifying that people often don't know where to start. And I can imagine myself at a different time in my career listening to you talk, saying, how would I possibly have those conversations with people? How do I get permission to have that? How do I even find out who they are? Or how do I do my homework? Like it's just a name on a building. Like, how do I do that?
Yeah. So that's a great question. I don't do a lot of blind pitching. Typically, what I will do is I figure out who I already know in my network that knows someone within an organization that can open up a conversation. That's what I've done from the very beginning of client creation. Or you can see who is in HR that you might know or that someone might know that you should talk to. And then as far as the permission goes, if someone is going to be talking to you about coaching, we don't need permission. This is what the job is. This is the piece of it. They're not there. They're not there to have a coffee date with you. People are busy. So if you're going to actually get an executive on Zoom or 15 minutes on the phone, you want to make it count. You really do. And I prep my people. I actually send this to them before talking to them so that they know it's going to be a thoughtful call. That we're not just getting on there, hi, I'm Gretchen, I'm the coach, I might help your team. Nobody wants that. And that doesn't show me any differently than anyone else that's out there. But when I prep them that, hey, we're going to spend these 30 minutes together, I want you to come prepared to talk about what's the challenge and what's the biggest risk if this doesn't change. And what have you already tried? Send me a few lines, doesn't have to be paragraph format. You don't have to tell me a story, or you can, but give me some background so that I can hit the ground running to see if this might be a good fit to serve you.
So before we open it up to questions from everybody else, I've got one more question.
Yeah.
You've worked with a lot of people like us. We have been, right? What do you find is one of the things that people either they hear it, but they don't apply it, or they have trouble grasping it, or trouble in the execution of it? Where's one kind of repeated speed bump that you see from us?
Yeah, standing in your professional self versus your social self. For coaches, we're really worried about are we liked rather than are we serving? And so even the question about how do you get permission, you have permission because your title is coach. And when I show up as a professional in my industry, I know I am here to serve and to expose and to bridge the gap. But when I show up in my social self, I'm worried about being hired. Do they like me? Does my hair look good on screen? Does it? You know, those sorts of things. Like that's what I'm concerned about, instead of, is this an interesting company for me to work with or person to work with? Can I really help? And will they be a good coaching client?
Wow. Cool. Fantastic. I'm glad I asked.
Yeah.
So we have a few minutes. Questions for Gretchen. What do you want to know? And by the way, was anybody at Gretchen's SIG yesterday? It was yesterday, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah. Cool. Hello, Barry.
Hey, Gretchen, good to see you again. So
Yeah,
one of
hi,
the
Barry.
things that I really heard you say today, in between, when I think of the through line, isn't that you're in whatever your beginning conversation is, isn't that you're doing coaching or selling coaching, you're really going for the needs. Because there was 2 or 3 words you just said a little bit ago. And I don't remember what they were. They were like, you want to know what, I don't know. I'm paraphrasing. What the impact is. What if you don't get it done? You're looking almost like ROI questions. And I'm curious
Exactly.
about if you can say a little bit more about that, because I think I think most coaches don't do that. I think most coaches say, let me tell you how I use the hammer and the saw and the plumbing and electrical to get there versus what it's going to do for them.
Yes. So what I have found, and that's a really good distinction, Barry, is that if I'm just talking about it's 6 sessions over 3 months, nobody cares. That's not helpful. But when I find out what is your biggest challenge right now, what is the company facing? If this doesn't change, what's at risk? It becomes real for them, and I sound different. This isn't just some program that I bring into every company that I do that's generic. It's, I want to find out, what does your team, what does your individual need? And when you figure that out with them and they're really talking about it, they're actually doubling down on why it's needed. You know, they're hearing it. Oh, well, if I don't have Johnny get some help here, then this big contract that we have is at risk, and we really can't get rid of this guy because it's the owner's son, you know, whatever the story is. And they figure out the reasons why they need coaching. So the more you
Right.
can expose, the more likely you are to have further conversations. And they see the value then. I never am talking people into the value, not even one time.
You're helping them see what their issue is, what the problem is, and if they, yeah, it's if you're not selling them, it's like you're helping them sell themselves.
Yes,
Thank
exactly.
you so much, Gretchen. Good to see you
Yeah.
again.
Thanks, Barry. Good to see you.
Awesome. Any other questions for Gretchen before we switch over to Elaine?
And also, Gretchen is going to put some information in the chat. I hope all the speakers have been. I haven't been
I sure
reminding
will.
everybody, but I just know the chat is really full today. So that's fantastic. That's
Linda,
great.
do you have a question for Gretchen?
I was just going to ask what her website is and how to contact her.
I'll put it in the
Okay.
chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
Absolutely. Yes. Fantastic.
Awesome. All right. Elaine, are you here? Welcome.
Eileen.
There you
Picasso?
are. Hi.
Eileen.
Hi,
Elaine.
Eileen. I know I had creative parents. It's E and then lean. That's the easiest way
Eileen,
to
I like
remember.
it.
Thank you. Now, I want to just make sure that I'm giving you what's most valuable. So I missed the very first part because I was with a client. Do you want me to just focus on the one thing that it was unique, or to give you sort of the what didn't work and what does work?
Whatever you'd like to share, I think we can learn from all of it. So you have about 5 minutes. So whatever you'd like to share with us.
All right, great. I've been a coach for 23 years. I guess I'll start with that. So I have a lot of things that did work and didn't work. And even Google AdWords, I guess this was back in 2014, but MySpace was going up against like Dale Carnegie companies that would pay $100 for a click, not even for, an actual contact. I've tried different organizations like the local chamber. They needed us but couldn't afford us, kind of thing. So there's a list of things I can tell you that didn't work. But what I've built my business on, the most effective for me has been speaking. And I started through professional associations, alumni groups, even speaking for free when needed, Rotaries, Kiwanis, just things that get you out there and in front of people. And then it's important to have a follow-up contact strategy for those as well, including networking. So today, most of my business is coming from the referrals from prior customers, staying in touch with clients, not just with the newsletter, but something as simple as a holiday card, birthday card. Those work. Right now, what I'm trying to find the time to do is sort of a reconnection program, to just reach out, send them a calendar link and say, hey, I care about you personally. What's going on? What are you up to now? Making sure you're working those alerts on LinkedIn when people change jobs or careers. Finding connectors is key. When you find a good connector, and you can tell that sometimes by their LinkedIn or just by when you meet them, they're giving you different names, it can really lead to value. So in my particular case, I stumbled into being on a short list for HR directors of professional medical associations. So they put out, it's an old-fashioned email listserv from decades ago. When they put it out and says, who's got a great executive coach, people throw my name in the ring. And that's translated into now I'm even working with their board of directors in their presidential line. So that's been a great thing. A number one thing for me has been a mindset shift because I have a bench of affiliate coaches. I really had to consciously cut in half the number of clients that get to work with me. And I do say it that way, that you get to work with me. So I can just accept that I'm the CEO of a business and also the chief revenue officer, sales clerk, and salesperson and chief bottle washer. If you do join networking organizations, make sure to get into a leadership position or committee for visibility. And one thing that I had shared in email is that I have found incredible value from Bold House, and that it's Haus, the German spelling. So BoldHaus.com. I don't work for them. I actually pay them. But it is an organization that's uniquely designed. It's a bespoke professional services firm. It's a, as they say, go-to coaching, training, and community for consultants, coaches, and boutique firm founders who are ready to win corporate, B2B, and organizational clients and get paid what they're worth. And I come out of a corporate background, and every time I listen to their founder, Angelique Ruers, I leave with something. So their treasure trove of resources and approaches and models and things have proven to be very valuable, including, to piggyback on what Gretchen shared, is how to have those conversations going in. And
Will
then
that be in the chat? Will that be in the chat?
Will what be in the chat, Joanne?
What you just said?
Are you talking about the Bold House? Yes.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So Elaine, anything you want to put in the chat after this about Bold House or connection? I just put the name of it, but
yeah, it's boldhouse.com is basically it. And then one other thing to think about is strategic alliance partners. Thank you, Susan, for putting that in. Strategic alliance partners can be things that are adjacent. So perhaps there's I'll give you an example, exit planners, or as the baby boomers who have founded companies are moving to, say, retirement or a sale. Most of the professionals that work with that community are quantitative types, lawyers, accountants, business evaluation, insurance kind of folks. But what they do recognize is that it's a three-legged stool. And one part of it is getting the leadership team ready for that adventure, or assessing the leadership team if they want to buy something. And then finally helping that owner founder do sort of retirement, what's it going to look like? Third age, recreating that whole vision for how they still make a contribution. So those are some of the things that I've done and am doing right now.
Eileen, that's great. Thanks. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Any questions? Do we have time for a couple questions for Eileen?
Yeah, we need to be careful, but yes, if you have a question for Eileen.
And Eileen, if you'll just put your contact info in the chat and
Yeah, and am I right, Eileen, that you said that you have people you push to your own coaches, right? These are subcontractors, not employees. Is that true?
Correct.
So
Correct.
when we were talking earlier in the day about having a bench, you have a bench.
I do. And that was the best thing I ever did because everybody brings their own unique niches, expertise, and geniuses. So I'm certified in one tool because my bench, if you say you want a Hogan, I'm like, I got a person certified in that. You want a whatever, they're certified in that because it just doesn't make, I mean, it's very expensive to get all of these certifications because somebody might ask for something. I just know that between this network of ICF and my team, I can always find it.
Nice.
All right. Question from Tim, and then we're going to move on to Joe, right?
I'm sorry.
All right, go ahead, Tim. Quick question.
Yeah, Eileen, quick question related to your affiliate coaches. Is your rate for yourself in terms of what you charge the same as your affiliate coaches or different? Is there a referral fee, that kind of thing? That's my question.
So, Enterpace, the house, does take a cut, right? So that I can cover all the overhead or virtual assistant, the marketing, sales navigator, just, it goes on and on. But compared to some of the rates that were being put up there before, they're paid a competitive rate. I mean, right now, I think it's like $300 an hour is sort of our minimum. If it's a nonprofit, we might go below that. As a master certified coach, I charge more than I bill for a PCC, and I don't have any ACCs on my team. And everyone has to bring real world business experience so that we speak the same language as our clients. And if they're doing coaching, they have to be ICF certified. So those are my entry minimums, and then we take it from there. And we run it as a team, and it's voluntary. They don't get paid for this, but every 2 weeks, we just have this community where I share sort of the business and sales updates of opportunities. And then if there's a mastermind, we have mastermind time. So if someone's got a challenge with a client or with I mentor coach, and we just share the wisdom on the team.
Eileen, thank you. Thank you so much.
Tom, did you give Joe access? Did you see my note? He wants to share something. So could you make him a co-host?
Oh, I would love to.
Yes, make Joe a co-host. Thank you.
Yes, because we're moving from Eileen, who has people that subcontract, to Joe, who actually runs a company where he has full-time employees and office space. So Joe has overhead, and his business structure is different. So I'm curious to hear what you have to share with us, Joe. Hi.
Hi, you got it. So I am going to do this just a little bit differently, and the way I'm going to do this will actually feed into some of the marketing or the business development that we do.
So you're going to show us, not tell us?
A little bit, yeah. So for example,
Excellent.
I'm guessing I just got a little big on your screen, and that was done very, very deliberately. Unless, of course, hypothetically, you're working on something else, which I know you're not. But if you were, and this window is below that, you might not be able to see it as well. But like I said, this is being done very deliberately. As Tom had said, so we are not necessarily individual proprietor. As a matter of fact, I'm curious, by a quick show of hands, how many people here are an individual proprietor or perhaps a contractor, a coach?
Yeah, just cover the lens. Put your hand up to the lens.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So I'm going to start off by saying we operate a little differently. We operate as a firm. So if you think about, say, a management consulting firm or a law firm or even an accounting firm, that's a little bit more of our business model. So we maybe will contract out 5% of the work that we do at most would be my guess, but for the most part, it is everybody in the firm. So there's 5 of us in total. As Tom had said, my name is Joe Jotkowitz. The name of our firm is the Executive Advisory. I've known Tom, actually I was thinking about this the other day, Tom, we've known each other almost 30 years coming up on that.
Yes.
It's kind of crazy.
Yes.
I ended up.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I just want to tell you I'm grinning because you're showing us all your toys, right?
Yeah. So
this is your marketing.
This is part of our marketing, candidly. We've got a very different experience when we do online training, as you can see. So I thought at minimum I'd share a little bit around kind of the firm approach and then some strategies, some techniques for business development and marketing. But I'm going to do it from a firm approach. I'm hoping that some of this will apply as well to individual proprietors. So when we first set out to do this, one of the questions I started to ask myself was, why a firm? Why not just be Joe Jotkowitz Consulting? Well, first of all, nobody should ever have to spell Joe Jotkowitz Consulting. In addition, there were certain things that I realized I really liked, I wanted. Number one, I like the social component of being part of a firm. I like the ability to work with others. In addition, the ability to have greater bandwidth or capacity. So we will do large scale programmatic types of development as well. Or sometimes we'll get asked to coach multiple individuals and we are splitting up those types of projects. In addition, it allows us coverage, backup. If somebody can't necessarily show up, we are all very well versed in the stuff that we do. So all of us, for example, are certified in DISC or Hogan. All of us can talk about change management or communication. All of us have the ability to do management training and leadership development. In addition, I also wanted kind of a sounding board. I wanted the ability to bounce ideas off of people. And I also thought that creating unique, original intellectual capital was going to be very beneficial. And so the idea of doing that with people, for all of these reasons, I ended up starting by creating a firm instead of just as an individual. As a matter of fact, I think one of the greatest compliments I ever got, and Gretchen, this might have spoke a little bit to your three-legged stool. One of the greatest compliments we ever got was that we are considered a triple threat. And our client described it in this manner. You guys do coaching, that one-on-one type work. You do development, which is more that organizational development, maybe large-scale programmatic type work. Maybe it's culture survey, climate survey. And you do a training, workshops, learning labs, one-offs, seminars, presentations. And so part of our marketing approach really is to be a one-stop shop. And I want to make sure that I'm transparent about that from the get-go. So when we do start to take a look at some of this marketing stuff, I thought I'd begin with some of the stuff that we definitely don't do. So stuff that we're not real big fans of. So to speak. We don't do advertising. We don't do cold calling. And candidly, we're not really big on networking, as crazy as that sounds. We do it, but we're not too hip on it. So some of the stuff that we do end up doing, and I think I might have shared this approach at a previous meeting a number of months ago. Our approach tends to take on a model called mind it, grind it, find it. Has anybody ever heard this before?
No, I don't remember it.
Actually, I recently learned, now I've been doing this for decades. I've recently learned that this is referred to as the hail and door business model for professional services. Wow. Just learned about this about a couple of months ago. All this time I've been plagiarizing these guys. But when we take a look at it, mind it is doing good work. Good work begets more good work. And I'll give you a couple of ways in which we do that. Next is grind it, which is finding more work out of the current work that we are doing. And I'll give you a few of those examples. And then the last one is find it. And find it is that new, never worked with type of client or situation before. In mind it.
So, Joe, I'm sorry, I'm just going to throw in 2 minutes because I know you've got questions and we need to end on time.
You got it.
Thanks.
When we talk about mind it, basically after doing a program or an engagement, look, good scores. Good scores end up getting you called back. We're also looking for continual improvement in what we do in the programs and the approaches we take. For example, a number of our training programs now are starting to incorporate AI elements into it, and additional features. So for example, this studio is one of the things that we ended up using from a marketing and a business development perspective. I'll give you a quick example. If I was to show you a little bit more of what it looks like, we've got the ability to do like a virtual classroom type experience with the whiteboard here. We've got our presentation. As you see, we've got a lot of different sets. There's lights. I've got TVs all over. This was a big marketing thing for us, a big business development. When COVID hit, we did all of our training through here. We will talk through proposals with clients using the studio. It creates a lot more engagement. In addition, I also mentioned Grind It. So Grind It, some of the things
I'm going to keep you tight on time just because we lose people at the bottom of the hour.
You got it. So some of the quick things that we do here, HR roundtables where we invite clients and we discuss topics of the day. We do tiered proposals. If a client asks for X, we make sure that we offer that. And then we also do a Ferrari version, if you will, and sometimes even a scaled down version. We reference the prior work that we're doing in engagements. If I'm doing a workshop, for example, talk about coaching and other things that we do in there. And then Find It, some of the stuff that we do here. We do participate in networking groups. In addition, we do our social outreach as well. LinkedIn, we've got a monthly newsletter we publish in Forbes. And one that I wanted to throw out there, if anybody's familiar with Quoted. If you take a look, Quoted is a source that connects writers, journalists with experts like us. And so you can get your name published in different articles, magazines, what have you.
Oh, nice.
So it's called Quoted, Quoted. And I know we're tight on time. I will say some of the additional things that we do. We've got an elevator pitch that's very, very deliberate. We try and approach it from the standpoint of helping versus pitching. We follow up like crazy. For example, I've got a program right now. It's in a 2-year sales cycle, and it just ended up capping off. And then we also help others network. So there you go.
Thank you.
Yes, Tom.
It's great to see your toys. Oh my God. Are you going to give our screens back to us?
Yes, I can go ahead and give you back your screen. There you go.
We were taken over by Joe Jokowitz. Oh my God. It was a pleasure. Joe, listen, I know people have stuff for you in the chat. So maybe if you can take a look and put your contact info in there, whatever. If you've got questions for Joe, thank you for doing that. I remember when you were installing that studio, man, but I've never gotten to see it in action. Very exciting. Thanks. So here we are. We are at the end of our day together. I want to remind you what's happening next, which is right now, literally, like as we all say goodbye to each other, it's the end of our 8th year together. Together, yeah, no kidding, right? And I know there are many of you here who have been here the whole time, and it's fantastic. Our next meeting is in February, where we build the list that we vote on for the rest of the year. We get to do what you are interested in, so please come back and join us. Your support means the world. We are really grateful. Follow up with the people who were generous today, and for those of you who shared, thank you so much. That was so great. And this is where we get to hang out a little if you like, or take yourself off mute and say goodbye to each other at the very least.
Thank you. You guys are awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much. So valuable.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Tom,
you.
this is a great session. It was a great session.